Hi, everyone. I am Violet Ayala, the founder of FemCity, and I'm so excited for today's class. I love marketing, and even though I'm not a pro in it, I know people that are, and Holly is one of them. So Holly Norian is from our FemCity Founders Program, and she is one of our marketing experts. I've had the opportunity to actually hug her recently, so I'm so excited that I got a chance to see her in real life, because usually I just see her through her classes and through our platforms. Holly, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know you're really busy and you're traveling. Today's class, she is going to teach us on how to create a magnetic brand. And I am not a designer. I just pretend to be one. I have to say, marketing and branding is everything when it comes to your business. When you're at the grocery store and you're between two salad dressings or two wine bottles, the marketing is generally what sells you to purchase that. Even when you're looking for a book and you've got two books there, the branding, the marketing is what gets you to buy that book. So this is, I believe, I've always invested the most money in our marketing, because that, I believe, is the way to tell people who you are and get them to give you a chance. So I'm going to step off the stage. I'm going to give Holly the stage. Do you want me to, is there a presentation you want me to share, Holly, or is it just?
I think I can click the button.
Okay, perfect. All right. So and I see the students are in here. I see you, Debbie and Trisha. So we're going to give the stage to Holly to go ahead and teach. If you have any questions, feel free to use the private chat, and I'll bring them in for her when she gets to a pausing point. So anyway, okay, I'm going to bow out of the stage and hand it over to you. Take it away, Holly.
All right. Thank you, Violet. Yes, as Violet said, I'm Holly Norian. My business is Fancy Fox Branding, Design, and Print, and I really love helping femmes build their brands from the foundation up. First, gaining clarity of who they are as a brand, who they're talking to, what's the message, why should those people listen to you, and then building a visual identity that aligns with that vision and those values. So this clarity and cohesiveness brings confidence and focus that is felt by both you as the business owner and your audience. So today I will be talking about a key piece of that brand foundation: crafting a magnetic brand stand out and attract your dream clients. And I'm figuring out how to add the file to StreamYard so that I can share it with you. It's not quite like Zoom. So just a second here, I'll find it. Okay. Open. Uploading. I'm getting the circle. It is coming. Okay. All right. So first, what are we talking about? What is a dream client? Why should we care about attracting them? Why don't we just want anybody to pay for our services? And feel free to comment with your answers. Why are you here today? Why do you care? Do this quick visualization with me. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Think of a client or two you've worked with where there was some friction. Remember how it felt to see their caller ID on your phone when they would call you. Like, you probably had a physical reaction and an emotional reaction. If you facilitate group work, have you ever had that, like, one sourpuss in the group whose energy kind of throws things off? Sit with those feelings a second. You know what that feels like, that something's not quite right here. I can't wait to be done working with this person. And then shake that off. Literally give your body a little shake. Exhale out that energy. And now think of a client or two who you could hang out with all day. Their email inbox. They're very receptive to you. You work really well together. There's a really good vibe. And how does that feel? Probably wildly different. And you can open your eyes if you had them closed. Did you feel a difference? This is why we care about dream clients, right? Because as service providers, we work closely with our clients. We communicate with them regularly. We spend time with them. So your compatibility matters. It doesn't matter how much a wrong fit client pays you. You will not feel good about working with them at the end of the day. So here's a saying we've all heard, right? If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. How do you feel about this statement? I don't know who said it, and I didn't bother trying to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it was a man. Because for female service providers, I believe we care deeply about relationships and transformation, two things that this statement doesn't begin to express. So I think we should be saying something more like this. If you love who you serve and you serve them well with joy and flow, then you'll love your work. What do you think? I think all of these pieces are key, because when they aren't present, that's when we start to resent our clients, we procrastinate, we get burned out. So let's define these pieces. Love who you serve. What does this mean? You have compatible personalities with this client. They respect the boundaries that you set. Hopefully you are setting boundaries and expectations and how your process works. And then they respect those boundaries. You show appreciation to each other. You are a fan of their goals and what they want to achieve. You're going to be proud at the end, saying, look what I helped do. I am in support of this on a personal level. They embody whatever behaviors and characteristics that you like to engage with. They're somebody you like to be around. So that's someone you love to serve. You serve them well. What does this mean? You are equipped to solve their problem or reach their goals. You've got the right experience and know-how for the job. The work you do together leads to value and transformation for this client. You provide the results you promised or even above what you said you would. And you feel worthy of being paid for this service. Because look, you can see what you help them achieve. And they are happy to pay you because they see and feel the value of your work together. And then the last piece, joy and flow. This is like that your zone of genius, if you're familiar with that term. Not only are you capable in this work, you're good at this work, you also really enjoy it. Sometimes you can really get into that space where you don't even know how much time is passing as you're doing this work together. It really lights you up. So when these three pieces come together, that's the ideal. That's the dream. That's when we feel the most fulfilled and energized in our business. And I really like to use the analogy of a target. Every opportunity that comes our way or that we choose to pursue is somewhere on this target, where the dream client scenario, loving who you serve, serving them well, joy and flow, that's the bullseye. That's what we're aiming for. And all of our messaging should be us talking to this client. That's how you get more of it, by being hyper-focused on this scenario. But it's impossible to aim for something if you don't know what it is that you're aiming for. So let's identify our bullseye, our dream scenario. So step 1, collect your client data. My favorite way to gain clarity in this area is by looking at your own data, your own experiences, and keep coming back to it. You will gain more and more clarity the more data you collect or the more clients you work with. So this is not a one and done. We are ever evolving, and our bullseye evolves with us. So I highly encourage you to make collecting your data part of your year-end process. And this is a little work intensive. So this is an assignment, and it's great that this class will be living on femcity.com after this. So you can come back if you want, pause your way through it. But this isn't something you'll be able to do right this second. So however you can see a list of your past and existing clients, you'll want to get that in front of you. If you haven't been in your own business that long, but maybe you've been in a similar role as an employee, You may also be able to use those experiences here as well to get some more data in your table. Once you've got that list, make a table and or email me. I have this on letter paper in table format that you can just print off and use. And write this information in for every single client. And not only is this helpful for this exercise of getting to your bullseye, everything that you write in for your clients can be turned into messaging once we know who we want to talk to. So this is really, really great data to keep track of, like across the board. So from left to right, client name, this is just for your reference, so you know who you're talking about. Their frustrations, what are they struggling with before working with you? What are they feeling? How were they talking about your problem when you had those initial discussions? The more we can put the frustrations, wants, and results in your client's language, what they were actually saying to you, the better. And I'll be talking more and more about speaking their language. So their frustrations, their wants and needs that led them to hire you, which can be a little different, right? Want is like, what are they say they want? Like if someone says, I want, it's the result. I want my coworkers to respect me. Need is the how. And they may think they know what they need. Maybe they think, oh, I just need to toughen up. I need to be a certain way and then they'll respect me. But really you come in as the expert and you show what they maybe really need. Maybe they really need to develop certain communication skills or learn how to set boundaries. So there's a subtle distinction there between what it is they want and what do they actually need. And if you happen to know both, what they think they need and what they actually need, that's great to write down because, again, that's a really great topic for content marketing. Surfaced results. What service did you provide? What were their results or their transformation? Who are they now as a person? How is their life different? How is their business different? What's changed? What's easier? All that good, juicy stuff. And then reasons for ease is on your side of the experience or the problem that you were helping solve, the service you provided, or both that you enjoyed that felt really easy. This is where we're like looking for that joy and flow. What was easy? What went well? And then reasons for tension, opposite here, was there anything that caused a little friction of either the client, the problem you were solving, maybe it wasn't a good fit, or the service you were providing? Is there anything that caused irritation? What was standing in the way of flow? And then how did you meet this client? What was your first point of connection? So again, write about your client's feelings in their words. If you do not even know what they were, go back and ask them. You can do post facto market research here because this data is so important. And if it's not already part of your process in your initial conversations, in your discovery calls, and then for results in your kind of service wrap-up process, make asking these questions part of that process so you can keep track. Okay, step 2, analyze your data. So get out some highlighters, go through that reasons for ease column and see what's jumping out at you or things that you found yourself repeating. That's an indication that that's important to you. And then same thing for the reasons for tension. Highlight things that, I mean, you can highlight everything in the column, really, but what kind of kept coming up, or what was really like, oh man, I need to stay away from situations like this. this is a big lesson learned type of thing. And then we want to take that information and find patterns. In that reasons for ease column, when we wrote things down about the client or the problem we were solving, what are things that we can find that they had in common? Certain phase of life or business, similar life circumstances or experience, same problems they were coming to you for, similar goals that they wanted to achieve, certain behaviors. Where was their mind at? Were they really ready to work with you? That type of thing. What patterns do you see? And then in that tensions column, still looking at things you wrote down that were along the lines of the person or the problem. Were there expectations or systems you can put in place to mitigate these tensions? Because sometimes there's tension and it's not the client's fault, it's ours. If we complain that a client, they're always emailing me at 9:00 at night, or they're calling you at certain times or whatever. Well, why are you checking your email at 9? If you don't want to get clients at 9, don't be checking your email at 9. It's fine whenever they email you. You should have set times on when you're checking your inbox, or have a communication policy in place that says how they should communicate with you. Should they not call you? Should they go through a certain process? So think about those things first. Like, who is the source of tension on? Because if it's on you, you can put systems into place. Great. Fantastic. But sometimes it's just not a good fit, right? And when we can see that, oh, this client or this problem ended up not being a good fit for me, what clues were there in those initial conversations before money changed hands, before we agreed to working with each other? What did I notice? How can I evaluate new prospective clients so that I know right away, oh, I know this isn't going to go well. We should just not pursue this relationship, right? And then services. We want to, so these are patterns with the, clients you love piece, things that you love to do. And now this is focusing on the next two parts of that bullseye, the serve them well and with joy and flow. What services feel really good to provide? You feel confident about it. You can see the results. You enjoy it. And format might come into play here, because the same service offered one-on-one style versus group style may have a different feeling for you, right? So think about how the service is delivered, and if that comes into play with how you feel you best deliver it, take note of that. And then in that reasons for tension column, what did you put down in regard to service that you would like to see less of on your calendar? What services take more stress or energy to provide than is really worth it? Okay. Step 3, crafting your bullseye message. I love to serve clients who, and then describe in as much detail for yourself the person you love to work with, what problems they're having, what they're thinking and feeling about their problem, what they desire, what they need, their state of mind, their circumstances, all those juicy tidbits. Get specific as possible, and then feel into it. Close your eyes and imagine your entire client list fitting this description. How does that feel in your body, in your soul, if this were true? And you can hold that visualization with you as you work on crafting your magnetic brand. And then the other pieces, I feel most excited, fulfilled, and confident when I'm helping clients. What services do you want to be known for? What kind of referrals do you want to receive? What do you want to spend the most of your time doing? What transformations or dreams do you most love helping clients achieve? Write it all here. And then feel into it. Imagine a wealth of referrals and inquiries coming your way for this service. Your calendar is full of this service. I get really excited. Like, how cool would that be? Step 4, speak directly to your bullseye in all of your messaging. And this is the step I probably get the most jazzed about. I love helping clients speak their ideal client's language, speaking the way we talk, cutting out the high level jargon. Nobody calls up their best friend saying, I just wish I had the tools and resources to regain my vitality. We don't talk like that. So why would your messaging be like that? No one's going to resonate with it because those aren't the kinds of words we use, right? That kind of wording will get you ignored and passed over because there's no emotional response there. So speak to your bullseye with language that they are using. Effective messaging is asking your clients what their frustrations and desires are before you start to work with them, so you can start to collect this kind of juicy language. How are your clients describing their problems? And listen to what they are saying and document it somewhere. Keep a running note of this language because you're going to turn around and repeat it in your marketing. If I've had a client who was listening to what their clients were saying, and they were doing Feldenkrais, and someone was like, I've just felt like I've been walking around in a vice grip, and now after working with you, it's been released, right? That is so juicy and visual, and it's not something the service provider could necessarily come up with. It took asking and listening to get that visualization that they can then turn around and use. And like, do you feel like you're walking around being squeezed by a vice grip? If so, right? So this is a quick example for a relationship coach. High-level introduction. I'm a relationship coach and I help foster equity in the household and lessen the mental load. What does that even mean? That's a little obscure, right? A little high level. How a client might be talking about it. I feel like I do more work around the house. It's not fair. I wish my partner would pitch in without me having to ask. So how do we turn this, what they're saying, into a proper introduction that has an emotional response while still sounding professional? Because it's a blend, right? So try on. I work with couples who have slid into household roles where the workload balance feels unfair. I teach a system that splits the to-dos more evenly without having to delegate or hoping your partner will notice when you want help. That brings up an image, right? And bonus, the system helps couples connect and enjoy each other again. How great would that be? So this is what I mean by speaking their language. Language that resonates. So that was the how. This is the when. When to speak your bullseye message. Always. Whenever you are talking to anybody about your business, stay hyper focused. That makes you memorable. That makes you referable. And then where, so that column we wrote down in your table, the how we met column, go through that and do a tally of all the ways that you've met your various clients, and then calculate what the top 3 were. What are the top 3 ways that you've connected with clients, and then really lean into them. You don't need to be in all the groups on all the apps. think about how you can further nurture these lead generation methods that have already proven to be successful, and start by showing up with your clear and consistent messaging. So a few places to double check your messaging now that you've gotten it more dialed in. Look at your bio or your profile on all of your social media accounts and edit it to reflect who you most want to attract. Your website, absolutely. Are you speaking directly to your bullseye? And your elevator pitch when you're introducing yourself. If you do any virtual or in-person networking, reflect on your introduction and the feedback you receive in those situations. Like after you give your little intro, do you get the response, I know someone who could use your services? Or is it more like a, okay, that sounds interesting, because they actually have no idea what you just said? Keep tweaking and testing out your message until you get feedback that it's super clear. And then our last step, leave room. If you continuously fill up your calendar with these outer ring clients who don't meet all of this criteria, you're blocking off your chance of working with more dream clients from the bullseye. Tell me if this has ever happened to you, because it's happened to me. You see someone share their results from a service they received from another provider. Like somebody makes this announcement on Facebook. Oh my gosh, I just went through this and this is, blah, da, 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 da. They're making this announcement. And you think, man, I would have loved to do that for this person. That would have been my dream scenario. But then when I actually thought about it, I was like, oh, if they're making this announcement now, that means they were probably working on it a couple months ago. And at that time, I didn't have the capacity in my calendar for that opportunity. I was basically holding up a no vacancy sign to the universe. I didn't have room for any client, let alone a dream client. So it's up to you how much you hold fast to this bullseye scenario and say yes or no to opportunities in the outer rings. I know a lot of us have been conditioned to try and please everybody and not hurt anyone's feelings, because that's what a good girl does. But ultimately, you are deciding how you want to feel. Just last month, I met with a prospective client. I walked him through my logo design package. And a couple of days later, he emailed saying, I'm in. How do I pay? And I really toiled with it because he had shown a couple of red flags for me in my process. In our initial conversations. And then by the time he said yes, I knew it was one of those situations where, like, the easiest thing in the short term would be to say yes now, but then it would be a stressful 2+ months of work following. And I knew I would regret it, but it's so easy to not cause any pain and say yes now, but then you end up with the pain later, versus doing the hard but quick thing now of saying, on second thought, no, but I wish you the best of luck, which is what I did. And I immediately felt so relieved and so happy, and like this giant weight was lifted. And I was so happy to have that space in my calendar where his project would have been, and just leave it open for better opportunities or overflow from other projects, or just having a slightly lighter calendar, which is sometimes nice too. So one of the wonderful yet sometimes hard parts of being a service provider is that it is a two-way yes system. If someone says, here's my money, I want to hire you, you are not obligated to take it. You also get a choice. You can say, fantastic, I can't wait to get started. Or you can say, thank you, but I don't think we're a good fit. I wish you the best of luck. When opportunities arise that are on a ring outside of the bullseye, and even opportunities that are on the bullseye, depending on where you are in your life right now, maybe you don't want to take on any more clients, and that's fine. But when opportunities arise on these rings, maybe they're really close to being a dream or they're really far away from being a dream, we can decide on a case-by-case basis if we want to pursue it or politely decline. And you can make these decisions based on how much extra energy you are willing to put in or stress you are willing to tolerate, because that's really what these outer rings indicate to those various degrees. Services that you don't have as much experience with are going to take more of your energy. You're probably going to have to spend time learning new things to serve the client well, or overcoming obstacles because you're not finding that flow. And clients that you don't jive with are going to cause you way more stress than the ones that you do, right? So I'm not saying that working in your outer rings is an absolute no, but it should be an informed decision that it's not a dream scenario, which always comes with the risk of regretting it and closing yourself off from a better opportunity. So we're at 1:30. Recap: steps to crafting a magnetic brand. Collect your client data, analyze it, summarize your bullseye message, speak directly to your bullseye, and leave room for your dream clients. This is what makes you unique. Even if someone has the same certifications as you do, provides the same services, your experience, your data, and your passions, who you love to serve, how you serve them, cannot be duplicated. And this is also why you can't just copy what somebody else is doing. It has to come from you. It has to align with you. Whether you know it or not, in life and in business, you are always attracting, consciously, unconsciously. So you might as well get clear about what it is that you want to attract and do so consciously. If you want to hear more about identifying dream clients, finding your voice, brand positioning, the visuals, how to put visuals once you have this stuff figured out, how do you create a whole brand identity that goes together, or if you just want to say hi, I'm here, I'm Holly Norian. Here's my email, and that's a QR code if you want to schedule a coffee chat.
This was so great. So there was some love that came through. I just want to go ahead and bring it in. This came from Manira. She said, this is a great chart. That was a couple of slides ago, but I didn't want to interrupt you. And then this one came from Alicia, who's watching from LinkedIn. I've started scheduling emails for the next morning, so they don't expect an answer at 10 o'clock. So going back to one of your tips that you shared.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah. And Manira, such great tips. Thank you so much for sharing. So you had a lot of love coming through for some of the femmes. So I know there's some in the classroom. If you have any questions for Holly, we are over about 2 minutes. So I want to be conscious of Holly's time, but if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment section. Or if you're watching the replay, I mean, I think that what Holly said at the beginning of her class is that this might be a really good class for you to pause along the way, even if you just took it now, whether through LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook or in the classroom. I know some of you are here. It may be a really good class for you to watch again and pause and do the exercises that she recommended, because it was a lot that she shared there. Of course, she only had 30 minutes. So I'm sure all of this she could have expanded, allowed us to have the time to fill it all in, but she did a great job. Holly, this was fantastic. I even took down some notes for myself as well. So I think my favorite part of the class was when you use the example of the relationship coach. We talk about this often in the Founders Program. We actually just talked about like meeting people where they're at, using the words that resonate with them. Sometimes we're so high level with our wording that we use that we miss where everybody else is at. So I thought that was the best out of everything that you taught today, which was all incredible. I loved that piece there, because so many times we want it to make it fancy, and we want it to have all these key words that make it sound, but at the end of the day, like, people just want to know what's in it for them. Like, how are you going to help them? So I love that you mentioned that and spent time on that piece as well.
That's the piece where I can just go to town. Like, I almost created a slide that was just full of buzzwords that we hear all the time. I'm like, yes. Get the word empower, vitality, vibration. Like, we maybe talk like that because of where we are in the work that we do, but that's not how our clients talk about it. And that's not going to get the response. So just talk like a normal person.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. So I know the students, I see them working, but I don't see any questions. Holly, thank you so much for teaching this class. It was really great. For those that want to connect with Holly, they're obviously use her QR code, or you can reach out to her. She is a wonderful and delightful human. She's very kind and sweet. So you don't ever have to be scared or nervous about reaching out to her. She's really the smile that she has right now is that's her energy in real life as well. So thank you so much, Holly. I so appreciate you. And thanks to all our students that joined us today. We'll be back. Wednesday is networking. So join us on the Wednesday circuit. And then Thursday, for those that are in the Founders Program, we have our creative hour. And then for those that are in our business, we have our office expert session at 1 p.m. So Holly, I'm sending you lots of love.
Thank you, Violet. Back at you. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.